Strip 1. Is Don Sweeney's confidence possibly shaken after retooling in 2015 and then taking those draft picks, not drafting well, and then not drafting well after, say, McAvoy and Swayman? Since then, 2018, there's nobody left. 2019, there's very little left. So could it be that he isn't quite sure how to retool?
Oh, yeah. That's definitely a possibility. I don't know if it's his confidence or if he just doesn't have a plan. But yeah, sure, it could be shaken. I hope it's shaken. I hope he's shaken to the core. But he needs to find his confidence.
Do you think they don't? Do you think that he is unsure, like where to go from here?
Yes, I do think he is unsure because I think he's trying to straddle the fence, like always.
Yeah, like always. But back then, you had a core that was really good, and you could straddle that fence some and get away with it.
You
can't. Now you can't straddle. There's no reason to straddle any fences. Your team blows, and you have nothing coming down the pipeline, and you have to do something. So you can't fence ride anymore.
No, you can't. And I don't know if he knows how to do that. I don't know if he knows how to exist in a world where he's not just making minor moves to a core that's already established. He has to build the core. He has to add to the current core, which I would call Pastrnak, McAvoy, Swayman. Three guys.
That's it.
That's all they have. Mm-hmm. That is the current core. Is 3 guys. That's not enough. So he needs to add to that. Can he figure that thing out? I don't think so. I don't think he can.
There's some restrictions to it too.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't shown me any kind of inkling. There hasn't been any signs from him that say, I can do this job. I have a plan. This is my direction. This is the type of players I want. This is the type of system I want. This is the type of coach I want. This is the type of development I want to do. These are the type of young players we want to draft. He doesn't have a plan for any of that, it appears.
No.
Maybe he does, and he just keeps it a secret, and he just uses the we're hard to play against thing, which we've gone over and over that. Like, that's made up. That's not a system. That's not a plan. That's not how you pick players. Hard to play again. Like, what does that even mean? I don't think he knows what it means. He likes the idea of it, but he doesn't know how to execute that. He doesn't know what that really means. Like, what type of player you need to make that thing happen. So he needs to go, and he needs to go sooner rather than later, because whether it's shaken or not, a change needs to be made.
Really, it's just really becoming frustrating, especially with Merkulov. Georgi Merkulov had a goal and 2 assists again tonight. He's white hot. John Farinacci scored again tonight. He's been white hot. Like, those are 2 guys I look at right now, and you can say what you want about Lysell. Maybe he doesn't deserve it, whatever. But those 2 guys, Merkulov and Farinacci, seem to me like they at least need a look, like a decent look, to see what you have there. And if it fails, so be it. Then it fails. Then those guys are AHLers, or Merkulov goes to the KHL or whatever. But don't you have to look at that the last 23 games or whatever it is? Don't you have to take a look at that going into next season?
I feel like you do. But my problem with it is the way they look at it, I don't think is the way most teams or other teams would look at young players. Like, they don't give them a legitimate chance to succeed. No. They don't set them up to succeed. They'll start them on the 4th line, or whatever the case may be, and they'll play them 6 minutes. And if they make a mistake, they'll play them 5 minutes or 3 minutes. They'll get 9 shifts in the whole game. That's not enough time. Or they'll play them with guys who can't score. Like, here's, they'll put Farinacci out there with Oliver Wahlstrom, offensive zone penalty waiting to happen, Oliver Wahlstrom. Congratulations that you scored a lacrosse goal when you were 8 years old. in mini one-on-one. I mean, that's the only reason the guy's on the team, because he scored a goal on Nesson when he was 8 years old.
Right. He's done nothing. He's done nothing. He did nothing with the Islanders. The guy's just not an NHL player.
He's done nothing except take offensive zone penalties.
Yes.
But that's
and every penalty he's taken is in the offensive zone.
But that's the guy they give to Matt Poitras to play with.
Yeah.
And Trent Frederic, who's having the worst year of the last 3 years.
Those are the two guys he played with.
And has it, went a month without recording even a single point.
Right.
That's who Poitras gets. So when Farinacci comes up, who's he going to play with? Is he going to play with Trent Frederic and Riley Tufte and Cole Koepke and Max Jones? Like, who is he going to play with?
Justin Brazeau. Yeah.
Justin Brazeau, who is scratched,
right.
To hold his trade value, of course.
Right.
But, it's like they don't give these guys a chance. So, yeah, they should come up and they should get a chance. But I don't trust this management team to actually give them a legitimate shot to succeed. I don't.
Either.
So
and I don't think those players trust the organization that they'll do them a solid either.
I mean, Merculov's been down there for 2 years and he's been producing at a very good rate now for 2 years and has gotten barely a sniff. And they've had injuries. They've had problems with scoring. They've had problems with
the power play.
Like all these things that you think, hey, there's a guy down there who's playing pretty well, who can do some of these things, and they don't give him a chance.
They don't.
So I don't know what that says to the young guys in your organization, but also to the guys on your current team. Like, you're struggling, but we're going to stick with you guys because, or we're going to bring up, the captain of the Providence Bruins who can hit, or we're going to go for a guy who's fast because we definitely need fast skaters who can't do anything, i.e. John Beecher. He still plays every night, but, I mean, he's the opposite of offense. Like if you looked up John Beecher in the dictionary, it would be a picture of a guy who could skate fast, and then his stick would be like broken in half. And he'd have one half in each hand, and he'd be like tripping over himself, fumbling the puck, down the ice.
Yeah. He's not offensive. His play is offensive, but he's not offensive. And the thing with Merkulov, like I know what they're thinking. I know what Sweeney's thinking. Well, I got Geekie, Zacha, Pastrnak, and I got Marchand, Lindholm, Coyle. Where am I going to put him? Where's he going to play? Who's going to play over? Well, I'll tell you right now, I'll play him over Coyle. Coyle has sucked for 2 months at least.
Yeah,
but he hasn't done anything. Like put him on the line with maybe he gives Lindholm a little something, or maybe you bump Lindholm down to the third line with those two schmoes you just talked about, and you put Merkulov in there with Marchand and somebody Coyle. Maybe do that instead. But
I mean, Merkulov should be getting top 6 or at least top 9 minutes in the NHL to see what he can do. If he can't do it, he can't do it. But you got to see, and not 9 minutes.
Yeah,
9 minutes. You give him some power play time.
Right.
Yeah, you give him some power play time and you let him play. You're letting Mason Lohrei play through the mistakes. Let some of these other forwards play through the mistakes.
I hear you.
More glaring when it happens on defense, for crying out loud. Like, let some of the forwards play through it. They've yanked Poitras around too. Like, let them play through it. If you're going to let Mason Lohrei do it, let some of these other kids do it too. Let them play through the mistakes. Whether it's Merkulov getting top 6 or top 9 minutes, Poitras, like play them with good players and see what can happen.